Quick, why should you trust this video and not literally the hundreds of other videos talking about this exact same topic? Well, unlike the guy in the last slide, I'm not a scammer. I'm literally 20 years old, not some 27 or 28-year-old making a ton of money selling YouTube courses to crypto bros and drop shippers. I go to Harvard. I'm a full-time student right now in my fall semester. So yeah, just I'm not a scammer. Second thing, I'm not selling you anything. Part of the reason why I'm saying I'm not scamming you, and I'll really never sell you anything except if you want to invest in my business or acquire me one day. I'm currently a healthcare AI founder. I'm in the tech space. So yeah, just no relation to anything scammy on YouTube. The third thing is I'm legit. I'm not a faker. A lot of these people will, I don't know, rent cars or like whatever it is. I'm not the flashy type, to be honest. Again, tech founder, have a Whoop, don't have a Rolex. I have 7 figures in my brokerage account though, so you know that I've used these techniques, tried them out myself in my own businesses previously, and this isn't some 7 figures made from crypto. I literally just have it invest in the S&P right now, earnings I had from my business. And yeah, here's the other screenshot. This is literally from yesterday. I'm currently traveling, but this is from the business class lounge, Lufthansa Airlines in Frankfurt. Pretty nice lounge, great food. Could sleep for around 6 hours during my layover period, but whatever. All right, so who this video applies to, number one, are entrepreneurs. I don't care who calls himself an entrepreneur. I think everyone's an entrepreneur. I think that whole spirit is a little bit dumb. I would honestly include, again, even this guy, even crypto bros, drop shippers, everyone, they are entrepreneurs, right? But a quick disclaimer: if you are a VC-backed founder, that means you've taken external investment of any kind. You do need to think carefully about how you go about getting business travel points, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Because technically, if you're spending on a company card using company funds, those points are an asset of the company, so you need to think carefully about that. And so for future C corps or businesses that you have that are venture backed, be careful. But this also applies to everyone else too. I think this is super helpful. I would have honestly killed for this knowledge before I started my business. But honesty is the best policy here, and so I'm here to tell you the clickbait title of how to legally never pay for travel again. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So you are going to have to pay, but you can make a lot of travel points using the techniques I'm going to show you in this video, so that you'll save a lot of money in the long run. But you do have to obviously pay for something in the process. You can't just like rob people, because then it wouldn't be legal. But I will protect you and I will be honest the whole time. So if you like me so far and what I'm here for, subscribe. I have a brand new YouTube channel so that YouTube's AI algorithm thinks that you like this video. It's the one free thing that people can really do to support YouTubers. So would really, really appreciate it if you just hit the subscribe button. That's it. Not yet. Don't worry. I'll earn your trust. Let's get into number one. So the first thing you need to do is open a business. So there are 3 types of businesses that we're going to be talking about: LLCs, S corps, and C corps. Any of these 3 would work. I would recommend an LLC if you're running a bootstrap business where you plan on owning 100%, not taking external investment. It's the easiest to do taxes for. It often costs the least when you're in terms of opening it as well. It's what I started with when in my first business venture. You can use services like Every as well as Stripe Atlas in order to incorporate pretty easily, whether it's an LLC or a C corp. They will charge you maybe a few $100s, but it does really save a lot of hassle. But I do want to help out the 13-year-olds who are aspiring entrepreneurs watching this video and looking into travel hacks. So you can do this yourself. Obviously, it will still cost a little bit, but it would be significantly cheaper than using an option like Stripe Atlas. But you can actually get discounts for Stripe Atlas and some of these other services by opening up a business bank or sometimes Founders Pass or things like that. So I'll leave some links in the description that could be helpful. All right. I do want to, again, be honest and talk about potential risks of this, though. You don't want to leave your LLC or C corp in any case open for just forever, right? It's not like you can just open this and then just forget about it. You do have to pay franchise fees usually every year, especially if you're using Stripe Atlas. In Delaware, you have to pay like a $300 franchise fee per year. So you can essentially consider that to be a tax. And you also do need to file taxes. So don't really count that out. Again, if you're a young person, I do want to help out young people. Talk to your parents. Taxes are obviously are scary and whatnot, but you can definitely do it if you try. All right, the second thing, get a good credit score. So I think the best things you can do are, number one, open one credit card at a big national bank. So before you really go into the whole loop, the whole rabbit hole of like going in, like opening up these business credit cards and honestly just legitimately spending at these, I think it is a good idea to open one credit card at a big national bank. However, this will place what's like essentially a check on your credit score, and so there are certain banks that then will deny you from opening up a new credit card over the span of a certain number of months or several years. So what's honestly a better option for many people, especially young entrepreneurs, is to get added as an authorized user. So my parents were kind enough to essentially lend their good credit score by adding me as an authorized user onto their credit card. And if I remember correctly, I didn't even spend that much on that credit card. I spent like $5 a month or something, just to like my freshman year of college. I would just use it occasionally at CVS or whatever. And then yeah, my credit score got boosted within like a month of doing that. So then that brings me to the third thing, which is to get a good business credit card. So now you might be wondering, like, why do we orient this from the purpose of a business? Like, what was the point? Can we do personal? Personal is good, but you won't get as many points. The best thing you'll want to do is take advantage of these welcome offers that Amex offers, Capital One, Chase, etc. will offer. Again, I'll put a Google Doc with just a bunch of links in the description that could be helpful for you guys. I personally went with the Amex route. So I have the Amex personal gold card and the business gold card. I know there's probably a bunch of people who are like, oh, what about platinum? What about silver? What about like all these different things? Just trust me, you don't need to worry about any of it. Amex Gold is the way to go when it comes to this. I don't know. I think it's just because platinum is technically more expensive and it's above the gold card, but it really doesn't make sense for most people unless you're doing a crazy amount of traveling, or you're fine just having two credit cards open and you're willing to pay for both of those and you are using the perks of both of them really well. But Amex Gold, I love Amex, or I think really great. I got both the personal gold and the business gold and took advantage of both of the welcome offers. So I was able to gather over 300,000 points within just a couple months, as a 20-year-old. But that brings me to the next part. This isn't totally free. And I think not enough people talk about this. They're like, oh, it's like free points. It's a welcome offer, blah, blah, blah. Like, companies aren't stupid, right? They're not just going to do this for free and the hope is one day they'll make it back on these customers, because people, yeah, obviously maybe they still would be profitable, but it definitely does incentivize people to spend more in the first few months. Like, it's just basic psychology, right? You're like thinking of, oh, all these points, all these business class flights, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to spend more so that I can get the $6,000 I need to spend on this card or whatever, so that I can unlock the 200,000 point offer, whatever it might be. My offers were on the order of a few $1,000s each, and each of them came with hundreds of thousands of points, and so that's how I was able to get 300,000 points. But I think yeah, my recommendation would just be like, only open this around the time when you need to spend anyway. So I was starting a new business and there was a lot of startup costs associated with that, whether it was hiring interns early on to help us do a bunch of kind of like grunt work with creating content for us and things like that, sponsorships, influencer content, that sort of stuff we needed to do early on in marketing, and then a few like tech costs and things like that. So we were pretty much able to hit those limits pretty easily, and it's usually not just 1 month, it'll be like 2 or 3 months. But yeah, try to do it around a month where you need to spend anyway. So I know it's like pretty tempting. I'm a person who gets tempted by these things pretty easily, but like have the patience to wait it out so that you're in a better position and you don't end up just like spending money for the sake of unlocking these rewards, which are actually not insane. Once again, being honest, let me talk about how good those rewards are. All right, so we're over here on seats.arrow, and there's a good chance you might have heard of this if you've watched any other YouTube videos, but I just feel like everyone's done a really poor job of explaining to someone who's new to this, like, what this is. And it probably took me like dozens of hours on this site before I really realized how exactly it worked and what everything was. Like, it's a steep learning curve, I'm going to be honest, even as someone who is chronically online and has built technologies for a living, right? So looking at this part is pretty intuitive, right? You just select airport and where you want to go to. There is some cool feature though, which is you can select like multiple airports by typing in Europe, or let's say I want to go to Japan but I'm indifferent to where, so you do Japan. So actually, yeah, I'm going to go to Japan later this winter. So let's say I'm looking for a business class flight. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then it's going to load up all of these flights. Let's, I guess, start from the beginning here. Over here, you can see add plus or minus days. So what this means is you can actually choose your departure date and then add days up and down if you're indifferent to the exact day that you leave on. But what this is actually showing you is the points redemption value and special offers that these airlines are giving you. So generally, for most tools that you use, 100 points will be equal to maybe $1 or 60 cents if you redeem the points directly in the credit card that you're using, and it gets added to your statement balance. Or sometimes they'll let you, take it out as a gift card, like a Visa gift card that they'll ship to you or write you a check or something like that. So while that's pretty good, right? So you earned your 300,000 points, let's say, after doing the spend, right? And you put the 60 cents on it, so that's actually 0.006, right? So that's like 1,800. If you have some certain offer, some deal, some different card, maybe that's 3,000. So 1,800 to 3,000. Now the idea is that using the points redemption, you can potentially get a better value on the flights. And the reason behind this is because there's this huge economy of airlines and creditors selling points, airline points and mileage and credit card reward points to each other, and bundling perks, etc., to make things more attractive to their users while also saving money because of the perceived value. So what you will see here is, let's say I want to go to Haneda Airport. This is probably one of the major airports near Tokyo. NRT is a slightly farther away one. Let's say I want to go to Haneda Airport from Boston, which is where I live. Economy is right now 35,000 points for 124. And business is 112,000 points. There also is this, as you can see, $5.60. So be careful of that, because some of these offers, it'll be like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then you'll realize it's like $1,000 extra. It'll be like 35,000 points plus $1,000. I'm not even kidding. Like, it is insane. Right now we're getting pretty awesome offers, honestly. But anyway, green means that it's a direct flight. Blue means that it has connections. I'd recommend staying a little bit indifferent to it. Obviously, you don't want to go like 30-hour flights, right? But like, if there's a connection and you get a way better offer and you're able to do business because of it, then I would do it. Like, for instance, on the way to Riyadh here, probably could have chosen like a direct flight, but I actually did a connection because then I got to get great value on my business class. But 35,000 points, so let's convert that. This is what I like to do as like the base value. Like, if I were to just pay cash for this flight right now, well, let's try to figure out what I would get if I use my points. So let's say that 35,000 points, and currently, Amex point redemption is worth 1 cent, or is it 0.6 cents? Yeah, so it is 1 cent per point by redeeming through Amex Travel, right? So if you were to book this directly through Amex Travel, it'd be 1 cent. So essentially, 35,000 points divided by 100, this is $350. Okay, if you book through American Airlines. Now, what I would do is I would go on Google Flights, or I would go on Amex Travel Portal, and I would try to figure out, okay, this flight is maybe $400. So I'm getting a slightly better offer where essentially my 35,000 points is actually worth $400. So 400 divided by 35,000, you're getting actually 1.1 cents of redemption value. Okay, so I'm trying to, again, explain this for beginners because no one else explains it online. I don't know why. They just expect people to know. So now business class, right? This is the great deal of it. So 112,000 points, let's just count the $5 as negligible. Once again, sometimes you have to factor it in. I like to then just put it in ChatGPT and ask it to tell me what is the point redemption value for this stuff. But 112,000 points. Again, let's say theoretically we could get this through Amex Travel Portal, although I'll show you that doesn't really work. For $1,120, which is actually pretty darn good for a business class flight from Boston to Haneda Airport. Usually that will be more expensive. So let's go ahead and go Boston to Haneda Airport on Google Flights, which is I think the most common. Some people use Skyscanner and whatnot, but let's say January 24th, 2026. All right, and we're just gonna do a one-way on the 24th. All right, so oh shoot, it changed the locations. My bad. So Boston to Haneda on the 24th. Oh shoot, I'm in SAR. So I need to convert this real quick. So we're talking $600-ish, which is kind of crazy, no? Because over here, and if we choose the cheapest option, $17.93, there's some sort of option. Okay, even with like 3 stops or whatever, that's still like $478. Whereas through here, you're technically getting it for 35,000 points. So what you would do here is, let's say you were willing to go on this flight, it's 20 hours, 25.33. Okay, so 25.33 SAR to USD is $675, and you're getting 35,000 points. It's actually really great point redemption value for economy. This is pretty unusual for economy. You're actually getting close to 2 cents per point on economy. So I would honestly do that. That's like actually pretty good. Usually economy, you'll get like 1 cent point redemption value, or 1.1, 1.2. Not super great. Here, the equivalent flight, if we were to book via cash, is like actually pretty expensive. You can check your Amex travel portal or whatever travel portal to see if they give you a point redemption. You can calculate it, but I'm just using Google Flights as an example here. Then we have business class, 112,000 points. So again, if we were to just redeem that in our balance, maybe $1,000. But now here's where the beauty of it comes in, is you switch over to business. All right, hope I'm doing this all right. 10,000 points, or 10,000 SAR. So let's do 10,000 SAR to USD, 2,600. But we over here are being offered 112,000 points. So essentially, you can do 2,666 divided by 112,000 points, and we are now getting 2.4 cents of redemption value. That is pretty good. A lot of people will say, oh, I get 3 cents or whatever, but usually they're booking like months in advance for really weird trips to Europe, that they're just like, I'm going to go on a vacation. And that's good. But I usually, like, I have to go to an actual event in Japan. So I'm not just booking for no reason, like for some vacation. So that's why I have to usually do around 2 cents, okay, per point. So this is how this whole system works. The final thing you just need to understand is how to actually do the redemption part, because again, no one explains how to do it. And it's pretty complex because a lot of these sites will be in different languages too, which is super annoying. The best way is to select your transfer partner over here, but sometimes this will exclude stuff that would have actually been included. So as you can see, a lot of the good offers that maybe were specific to just one program, that I don't even know who was offering that, but let's see. Oh, I think it was Citi. Citi probably has an exclusive partnership with American, and they're offering really great flights to Japan. If you have a Citi card, great for you. But Amex, which I think is going to be the most common, you'll get the most value from the link that I sent as well. 159,000 points plus 476 redemption value, not so great for this. So you do have to actually do checking around with what you can redeem through Amex. And what I mean by that is Flying Blue is offering you a program where you can go into Amex and transfer your Amex points to Flying Blue and then redeem it on the Flying Blue website. I have mainly used the redemption program, I think, through Qantas. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I don't know if they have any flights to Japan. Oh, it's over here, yeah. So they have a lot of like partner flights. So I've used this several times. It works really great, and the redemption happens like within an hour. So you press redeem on your Amex, goes into Qantas, you redeem it there for, this 51,000 point flight, whatever it might be. So generally, again, try to get your point redemption value. Do the math for like closer to 2 cents. If not, like, again, a lot of these guys will be like, oh, I get it for 3 cents or whatever. Don't feel too bad. Like, do what makes sense for you, and don't just stack points for no reason, because you could have been investing. You can redeem it on the day you get the points and invest in the S&P, and you get actual return 8 or 10%, or in most recent years, way better than that, right? So just take that into consideration. Don't just like stack points for no reason. Make sure you're being reasonable with it and using it. So that's my full guide on kind of just like a quick walkthrough of how you can get business class points, redeem them, and set up a business bank account and set up your LLC or whatever you might be for your upcoming business. And if this is helpful, leave me a comment down below saying what video you want next about whatever topic, and I'll just keep sharing tips and tricks that I'm learning from my own entrepreneurial experience. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And oh, be sure to subscribe if I earned your trust by now. Appreciate it.